folks. Welcome to ITR Live. I'm your host, Chris Hagenow. We are back here in the Hendrickson Library at the Center for the Preservation of Western Civilization at ITR World Headquarters in Central Iowa. Got the John Hendrickson and myself here today, ready to thrill and excite you on another episode in the gold standard of Iowa conservative entertainment. John, you're not going to be able to keep up with me today.
No.
You got you got a fresh cup of coffee,
Yes,
but
yeah.
I'm ready to go, and I'm worried about you. I'm just going to be honest.
Actually, this is the first time I've seen you without a Dr. Pepper Zero.
Well, and that's just it. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm already so
Yeah.
wired.
That's right.
Yeah, I've got one left downstairs. Be that as it may, usually the show is brought to you by Dr. Pepper Zero, but today, no. I'm going to try and flying blind as it is. So anyway, it's a Friday afternoon. We do have a lot to cover, kind of a week in review sort of episode today. Before we get started, remind everyone that we are on video. If you are listening on audio, you can find us on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, a reminder that you can take us with you in the car, because I know you're not watching YouTube in the car. And we're on all major audio platforms if you want to. But yeah, if you really want to see John's smiling face, you'll have to go to YouTube.
That's right.
John, trivia.
Yes, yeah. So,
Let's give last week's winner or answer, and what do you got for us today?
yeah, last week we had two winners. And because of my poorly wording the question,
Yeah,
there was,
you really struggled.
Yeah.
It wasn't your best. It wasn't
No,
your best
no.
effort.
no, because I kind of I pulled that one out immediately. But so the question was, what was the actor Ben Stein talking about in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off? I think it was. Did I say 40 years, or I can't remember.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Doesn't seem that long.
Early
but,
80s.
But so the what he was talking about was two things. One was Smoot-Hawley tariff, or Hawley-Smoot, depending on how you want to describe
Right.
it. And then the other one was, it was a lesson on supply-side economics, or the Laffer curve, or what George H.W. Bush called
Yes.
voodoo economics.
I thought you were trying to get to voodoo
Yeah.
economics.
Yep. So we had two listeners. Roger got it correct, sent us an email. So thank you for sending us that, and Representative Bill Gustav as well. And
You know, what we need to do is just, when Bill doesn't have the answer, we'll just note that and just assume
yes,
that he...
yeah. So thank you to both, and we are we are in the process of getting some ITR stuff that winners may receive.
There will be prizes
yes.
at some point,
Yeah.
because we do value our listeners, specifically our trivia folks.
So
one thing that just occurred to me, and we try to find ways to get people to engage with the podcast, whether it's trivia or whatever we do, right? Is that I think I finally dawned on me. I've tried to get more enthusiasm, tell you to get really, emotive and everything. And I finally got what the people want. We need more John Hendrickson discussing John Hughes films.
okay.
Like, if we can get there,
Yeah.
I think we will have cracked the code.
Okay.
All right. John, tell me about 16 Candles.
I know I've not seen that one.
All right. Well, you got a lot of homework to do.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Was-
good. What do you
was-
got for us for this week?
Yeah, so it's a simple question this week. We're getting close to Independence Day, and so what we're looking for is, what president was born on July 4th?
There you go, folks.
So who was born on the 4th of July?
All right.
What president?
What president was born on the 4th of July? That's good. That's a good question. All right. Well, have at it, folks. John.
Was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles one of his films?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Good. That doesn't. It's
yeah.
anything John Candy, we know.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, folks, it's John Hendrickson on films. It's coming. All right. I've got a long list of stuff that we need to get to, John. So we're gonna get through this, but I gotta get through this one first. Did you see the KCCI Todd Bowman? I think it was Todd Bowman. Was an interview with Dr. Ian Roberts.
I did.
Did
Yes.
you see
yes,
it?
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
it's glorious.
Yeah. That was Tuesday. Yep.
He's crazy, right? I mean,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the short takeaway of that?
Yeah, it was interesting to say the least. I mean,
here
his
you got-
responses to the questions and
Yeah. We have listeners around the state that don't live in the Des Moines media market and probably get tired of us talking about Des Moines politics. But you got to take time for this one, folks.
yes,
So it was a Zoom interview with Dr. Ian Roberts live from prison or wherever he is, and just discussing the case. And it's fascinating. But we watch a lot of Dateline at my house, so I've seen a lot of interviews with guilty folks. And they usually have a justification or an explanation or I didn't do it. Like Roberts just cruised past that to just talk about how it was all for the kids. He's got up every morning, was working for the kids, and it's just, I don't know, but he was just missing the whole thing. Kudos to is Bo Bowman. Todd Bowman was his dad. I'm sorry, Bo Bowman at KCCI. But who does a really good job and did a great job to get this interview.
yes, yeah.
But it is bizarre too. Now, did you also see, I saw this and it wasn't on KCCI, they released body cam footage of the arrest.
Oh, I did not
Did
see
you
that.
see this?
No, I did not see that. Yeah,
This is good
I
stuff
didn't realize
too.
that.
Yeah, it is a highway patrol out in the woods tracking him down, and then they find him. And it really was, in the end, uneventful, but it's just kind of bizarre to see that. And he's in his typical suit that he's in. And I thought the highway patrol did as they often do, just a tremendous job. They're very professional, worked through it. Anyway, it's just all good stuff. But all of that having been said, the most, not surprising, remarkable part of all this, liberals still defending Ian Roberts online.
Yes.
They still can't let go of this guy. That he was so wonderful that it doesn't matter. All of that needs to be either excused or ignored or forgiven or whatever because it was for the kids. John, help me out here. Is this just me or is this? It's
No, it is.
I don't know who's got the worst delusion. Ian Roberts for just continuing with the charade, or liberals in central Iowa that continue to want to go right down through it with him.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of just extremism, and part of that story, I think on Channel 8, they talked about how the people were protesting for him until more information came out. Then most people just kind of went away, but you still have those on the left that are defending him. I mean, it's similar to those people that are still defending Alger Hiss and thinking that.
That's exactly what I thought, John. Alger Hiss is exactly what came from my
that Hiss was. That Hiss was, not a spy,
Yeah, I think there's a little bit in here, and that too often on the left, good intentions, trump everything else. Ian Roberts wanted to help kids, so nothing else matters. Results, facts, the law, that takes backseat to someone's good intentions. And that's dangerous.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, we hopefully we will have more opportunities to dunk on this story in the future. Let's see. We have supposedly a deal to end the war in Iran. $300 million or $1 billion. Is that good business for you, John? You feel good about that?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, and it's interesting because you're looking at different perspectives on this, and you know where I come from on foreign policy, but I saw a quote from Senator Joni Ernst last night on Channel 8 where she said we need to know where this money's coming from, and I 100% agree with that. And the administration right now is saying that it's not going to be taxpayer dollars, but I just think there needs to be more transparency in that. And then if you look at this memorandum of understanding, and I don't know if it's 14 or 17 points, I forget how many, it looks like it in a sense, it looks like Iran is getting a lot from this deal, and so that's also concerning because we were told that they were defeated and this was supposed to be unconditional surrender, and then when you see what this memorandum of understanding is saying is they're going to have relief from sanctions, going to be allowed to resume oil sales, and also they're not going to charge for the passageway through the Strait of Hormuz, but that's only for 60 days.
Sure.
And so there's a lot of questions, I think, about this deal.
It sure looks like we caved. I want to know more. I want to learn more. Mm-hmm. I don't need half of the story from the administration. Just tell us what's going on here. It feels to me like there's a lot inside of this that's not being released and not being discussed. I think we've talked about this on the show before. I'm confident that some of that, there's back channel stuff that's going on with our relationship with China and so on and so forth. But this just looks like a bad deal. But I was getting ready to go to work this morning, and my wife said, "Thanks for going to work for us this morning, so we can put food on the table and we can spend $300 billion to rebuild Iraq's infrastructure and their nuclear program and to continue funding Somali daycares. So thanks for your hard work."
Yes.
It's at a point where it's not even a joke anymore. What are we doing here? How much of the economic effort of the American citizen is going to nonsense? Not nonsense. I mean, what's the word, John? It's not going to make our country stronger. It's not going to fund essential needs. It's not going to whatever else. It's just going up in smoke in too many places. And look, just give me an answer. That's what I'm asking for here, because I don't have a satisfactory answer yet on the Iranian deal.
No, I think that's absolutely right. I think nonsense is actually an appropriate word. I mean, look at the amount of money they've sent to Ukraine. Where's the return on investment on that in terms of this whole situation with Iran, and then here on the home front, what is going on with the massive level of fraud, not just in Minnesota, but it's being uncovered in more states, and this is a huge problem with I mean, we're talking about millions of dollars, if not billions.
What happened to the DOGE committee and the DOGE report and President Trump's first State of the Union, where he was trumpeting all of this, and we got nothing? Tell me $1 of savings that came out of all of that. There isn't one.
No. There's the only thing they can point to is they can say, well, we've let go or we reduced the federal workforce by X amount, but the Congress did not really go along with a lot of the DOGE recommendations. A lot of that fell flat.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
It is.
It shows the power of the bureaucracy or the swamp.
Are we still draining the swamp here, or what are we doing?
And the focus, I think, because they took their eyes off of that objective, and they put everything in on what I would say is things that the president campaigned that he said he wasn't going to do, which was getting involved in these conflicts. And I know there can be disagreement on that.
John, I got no pop, and I'm slowing down. So we got to put a pedal to the metal here and keep moving. Okay.
Right, yeah.
The current back and forth in the gubernatorial campaign right now is the Rob Sands hit on Zach Lahn for his residency. And we talked about this a little bit before, John, but that the idea that Zach Lahn doesn't live in Iowa, which is factually incorrect. And I have several thoughts, but give me your thoughts on this real quick, and then I'll just come right back. And I need to collect my thoughts on this because I think it's ridiculous.
I think, first of all, it's an act of, I see it as an act of desperation, because this is what they think is the big issue that they can try to hurt the Lane campaign and just say, well, he's a he's a product of special interests of wealthy, and he's not even an Iowan, and he's going.
John.
Yep, so I got you going.
A product of the wealthy? Run that one. Just go ahead. Like let's have the campaign of good. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, that's what these ads been portraying, though, is that he was a puppet of the Koch brothers, and that coming from wealthy, he's got his own plane, and that he's not even which is, like, as you point out, is not true. He's not a resident of Iowa, and he's moving back and forth between the two states. And I think this is just it's a cheap shot as far as I'm concerned, because they don't want to address where Lane's coming from on the issues.
Zach Lahn flies back and forth to Wichita, Kansas, because that's where his kids are at. He is a resident of Belle Plaine, Iowa, owns his family farm, has invested in the community, is a native Iowan. Come on. This is... I think the hit is ridiculous, but the left has latched onto it, and they think that they're winning on this one. But did you see I think they kind of gave up on the whole flying back and forth. I haven't heard him talking about the plane at all anymore.
No, just that ad.
That early ad, but yeah. I think that doesn't resonate either. I mean, he's flying it himself. I mean, it's not like he's on some private jet flying. But anyway, here's what if this is their biggest hit against Zach Lahn, that speaks volumes about where that campaign is at, because I don't think it moves voters.
No.
I don't think the average Iowan is going to make it, you know what, I was going to vote Republican, but I think I'm going to vote Rob Sand now because Zach Lahn goes to visit his kids in Kansas. I don't think anyone is in that spot. What I do think, Iowans want to know what you're going to do. And right now, coming right out of the primary, the Rob Sand, and vice versa, have a chance to define the candidate. If this is the thing that they are choosing to spend their political capital on, which is defining him as this, it has nothing to do with any policy, it has nothing with anything that he wants to do as a candidate. And I think that is a huge miss by the Sand campaign, because if I play this one step forward, I think this is a little bit of the end result of not standing for anything, because as soon as he takes a stand and tries to if this is the biggest hit against him individually, the Rob Sand campaign will have trouble.
I agree.
Now, what they are doing right now, going on to our next issue, John, is Rob Sand is quote unquote auditing. There's a real torturing that word, Iowa's ESA program, and come out with a bunch of numbers that he got from someplace, just trying to attack school choice. That's all this is. So you saw this,
I
right?
did, yes, yeah.
Well, we've talked about it.
Yep.
And the whole hit is about, we spend this much money, this many students are, I think the quote was 79% would be in private school anyway. I don't know about that, because I know a lot of private school parents, and if Rob Sand takes their ESA away, that number is in jeopardy.
Yeah. Let me just tell a personal story about this, because I was in a meeting and with about a dozen other people, and they were just talking about ESAs generally, not politically. And all those people at this meeting, I would say were not wealthy. They're middle class people, and the only reason their kids are going to some are going to different Christian schools, but the only reason they were going is because the ESA. That's the only reason they could afford it.
Right.
And so it's not. The point is this is not going to just super rich families. This is helping parents, and this is something what Governor Reynolds has said that I think is right, is that Iowa parents have wanted choice. They've wanted, in a sense, whether it's through open enrollment or maybe charter schools or through the ESA to go to a private school. This is what I think a majority of Iowans want.
Sure. They know they want more. They want more than they're getting. What I keep coming back to with all these hits that Rob Sand and liberals continue to make on school choice and on private schools. And so what? They come up with these fragments of an argument. And my response to all this is, so what? So what if these families would be going to private school anyway? They're still being educated, and they're being educated better, and they're being educated more efficiently through an ESA program than they would be if we forced them all back into public schools, which is much more expensive. But that's not the point for school choice. But so what if they'd be there anyway? Or tuition has gone up by a lot since ESA. So what? The state's investment hasn't gone up. The state's still paying that same fixed amount per student. If me and my kids' school, if we decide to raise tuition up higher so that we can do other things, what does it matter to anybody else? We're still educating that kid for that flat amount that they're drawing down through the ESA program. So what? If we pay $100,000 a year in tuition, if that is a group of parents that want to make that investment, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And it comes back to, I guess, the governor had a great response, which was, this, and all of this misses the premise, which is we are funding the student. The dollars go with the student to get that student an education. And through an ESA program, you're doing it very well. You're doing it at an efficient rate. Who cares what the parents come over top of it with? In fact, that's a good deal for the taxpayers because they're giving even more going into the education system. But you're doing it more efficiently. You're educating the kid. Instead, you get this big government idea that it all has to be done in this monolithic public school that's incredibly expensive, rips the choice away from the parents, forces them into these institutions, which, as you just said, John, a huge number of Iowa families have said, I don't want that for my kids. I want to be able to pick something else. And the biggest piece that they need in order to be able to make that decision is the dollars that are funding their kids. And so we let them follow the kids. This is the battle. And I'll tell you this, John, I am very happy. Zach Lahn had a great response on this. And there's a lot of legislative leaders that came out very strong against Rob Sand on this. Yeah. And frankly, this isn't even his job. Coming up with some top-level numbers on ESAs and having another one of his magic press conferences, that's not his job. You know what his job is go do the audits that he's been asked to do that he's not doing right now, instead of a completely partisan sideshow to try and get one more free media hit that our local media, for some reason, is glad to continue to play along with.
Yeah.
It's infuriating.
Yeah. And, he keeps saying this is a program that's encouraging corruption, but where is the corruption? There is no evidence.
You know what? I've heard this before because a private school administrator goes on a nice vacation. What do you care? Of what business is it to any of these liberals what that private institution or its leadership or its families do with any of their money? It's a private institution that is taking the children's education dollar.
Yeah.
It's not taking money from this nebulous idea of to liberals, the taxpayer. For us, it's you and me. For liberals, the taxpayer is this magic pot of money that belongs to government and never belonged to an individual in the first place. So it's somehow taken. You made me mad, John.
Yeah.
I don't even have pop going today.
Yeah. So if a public school principal or superintendent goes on a European vacation, it's fine, but it's not. It's
not corruption.
Yeah.
Corruption.
Yeah.
That is offensive, and it's offensive to every private school family in the state of Iowa. Full stop. And I'm here to tell you, and I hope that our legislators, I hope they're listening. You think these groups that come up and flood the Capitol are loud or impressive? Wait until you try and take away the ESA program. You will find out how much private school families in this state will rise up.
I agree with that. Like I said, this is one issue where I've heard people that are not even political that are motivated because this is directly helping their families.
Yeah.
The other thing too is, we have the Iowa tuition credit that goes to private colleges, and some of those are religious affiliated.
Yeah.
Then shouldn't that program be dismantled?
No, it's all corrupt, John.
Yeah.
It's all corrupt. Every private college in the state of Iowa is corrupt.
Yeah. I mean, there's a double standard there.
Yeah. I heard there's an administrator that went on vacation. It's got to be corruption.
Yes.
Got to be corruption. All right. I'm done with that. All right. Did you hear we're going to have a foundation poll coming up? I've been hitting refresh on my email all week to see if we got it. But
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. We're going to find out where we're at. I'm really excited about that. Okay. Wow. For a roundup episode, we're rolling. I want to give you a little bit of time. We'll save that for next time. You have an article out on the Electoral College.
Yes, yeah.
I like to talk about the Electoral College, but I'm going to let you talk about the Electoral College for a little while because I don't think, maybe you will. I don't know if I'm going to get us mad about this one.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, so this article, just to give some context, came out in a special collection of articles on rural America. And so what I wrote about is why the Electoral College wanted, it matters from a constitutional perspective, but also it matters because of it preserves rural voices. And this is what we argue in this article, and that the Electoral College is important for Iowa. It preserves our voice within national elections, within the presidential election. It if we did not have it, we would probably not. The caucuses wouldn't probably matter, and we'd be literally the flyover state. And the reason why I think this article is timely is because what is going on. And what happened in Virginia, the governor of Virginia had signed a bill that basically commits their state to the national popular vote, which says that regardless of how our state votes, we will commit our electoral votes to the winner of the national popular vote. So it's a way to circumvent the Electoral College. And this is it's getting very close to achieving their goal. And I think there'll be some legal challenges if they do that. But this is a serious matter, because I think when we look at this idea of federalism, the last foundation of federalism within our constitutional system that is not crumbling is the Electoral College, because it preserves equality among the states. It preserves what I would say true democracy, where it makes voters have a chance, especially in smaller states, rural states, have just as important a chance as those in bigger states.
We do have the Rooker-Feldman doctrine. Don't forget about that.
That's right.
Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't forget about that. So you have to look it up, folks. No, it's a good article, and I care a great deal about the Electoral College as well. And I don't think we should ever stop talking about this, that how important it is that states' rights matter. And even even if you don't want to go down the philosophical path of the importance of the Electoral College, imagine a presidential election that's close inside of some hypothetical national popular vote, which we don't have. There is no such thing. And now we're down to a recount in California, where right now you have to wait weeks for them to harvest all of the absentee ballots. I think I saw just last night, was it the LA City Council that voted to allow illegal immigrants to vote in city elections? And we're going to now let that political regime play whatever games they want after the election is over. The idea of a national popular vote is dangerous. At a practical level, it just opens up far too wide for fraud. It's completely unworkable, but more importantly, is the premise of that federalism piece is indispensable to maintain the fabric of our republic.
That's absolutely right, and A lot of times we think of federalism as just money going between the federal government, the states, and localities, but it's more than that. And so it's not just it's dollars and cents. It's actually it's a structure of our system of government that the founders designed. And going back to, you reminded me of one thing about that. I think there needs to be more scrutiny in this governor's race is the repeated position of Sand of basically wanting to destroy the Iowa primary system and replace it with what they call the jungle primary, or the primary for all that California is. I finally, how many was it, a week or so or more than that, they finally declared the winner for their gubernatorial primary?
As soon as they solved for X, which was the number of ballots they needed, then it was over.
Yeah.
Right? And here's the big picture. Anytime you hear liberals talking about changing the way we do elections, ought to be a huge red flag, because they will change whatever they need to change to be able to accomplish the ends always justify the means.
Yes, yeah.
And right. and this is the people that gave you, everything that's happening in Florida. It's whatever happens in the middle of the night in Atlanta in 2000. It's universal mail-in ballots that are. It's all of the pushing back against voter ID at whatever cost. And I'm not going to miss the opportunity to blame Senate Republicans in D.C. for not getting the SAVE Act passed. But any of these left-wing changes to the electoral process in America are incredibly dangerous, because now they will take this. They will go, you think you've seen immigration now, wait till they get in control of the levers of power. And if they can just import voters like in the light of day, it's over.
Yeah, I think it's true.
You're supposed to agree with me, John, as part of your job.
They abuse the word democracy, which is a word that's overused anyways, but they abuse that and say that we're just defending our democracy and we just want to preserve our democracy. Well,
we don't live in a democracy.
That is a bunch of hogwash that is being manipulated.
I don't think any of us really want to live in a direct democracy anyway.
No.
Representative democracy, a republic, where those decisions are placed inside decision makers, and we elect them periodically, where there is a layer in between them and the individual voter. Yeah, that's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
But this game in the system, jungle primaries, getting rid of the Electoral College, some of the mail-in ballot things. It's all scary stuff, and that's why we just need voter integrity, voter ID, and a set of rules that apply across the country. If for nothing else, then we just need to build voters' confidence in the process.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I made it through the list.
Yeah.
And I did it without Pop.
Yeah.
Are you as fired up as I am?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we're going to come back hopefully next week, John, and we can hopefully have some poll results.
Mm-hmm.
We got to start talking more and more about the constitutional amendment ballot measure that we've got coming up. I think we need to probably at least remind everyone on every episode from here on out, they need to turn their ballot over and they need to vote on this question of whether it should be more difficult to raise taxes or the same it is now. So what it's going to take to protect Iowa taxpayers from their government.
That's right. It's an important taxpayer protection.
Yep. So good. All right. Well, thank you, John.
Yep.
Thank you, listeners. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends. And with that, we will see you next time on ITR Live.